feet. Summertime and when it's raining, put you down, rock steady, oh, I'll sweep you off your feet. If I say make you slow down for me. I say make you slow down for me. Boy, I make it no for loss, baby, no for loss. Special kind of love, yeah. Your loving is as necessary as breathing air. I just gotta be sincere. Oh yeah, my baby, they love me constantly. My baby fine, she they killing me softly. Baby fine, oh. I really wanna let her know, yeah. Ooh, that I will never let her go, yeah. God forbid, I do you wrong. God forbid, I do you bad. God forbid, I make you suffer. Oh yeah, God forbid, I do you wrong. God forbid, I do you bad. God forbid, I make you suffer. Oh yeah, my baby, they love me constantly. Baby, they love me, oh. My baby fine, she they killing me softly. Yeah, let her know. No for you. My baby, they love me constantly. My baby fine, she they killing me softly. I really wanna let her know, yeah. That I will never let her go, yeah. My baby, they love me constantly. My baby fine, she they killing me softly. I really wanna let her know, yeah. That I will never let her go, yeah.
If you are tuning in from wherever you are in the world, make sure that you spread the word. Tell all of your friends that, we are about to talk a lot of what's going on. We are talking about End SARS, the power of African youth, and what you should do to get us break from Zoom.
When I do
That and so much more here with my co-host, Donnie. How are you doing? I'm good. I definitely cannot complain on this awful rainy day. I know, right? I know. And the rain just ensured that, it introduced us with an hour to spare because the official winter time has commenced. I guess it's part of it. I slept my behind off. My gosh, I did. You know the type of sleep that you do that, you still feel tired throughout the day, that ungrateful, the ungrateful type of sleep. I am definitely. But it feels unreal, to be here in this month of October. I mean, it's something else. Yeah, we are. It's something else, man. But I'm happy. I'm grateful, especially to be here back with you on this Sunday. A shout out to everybody who's listening out there. If you are on the go, of course, you will not have the opportunity to spread the word. But if you are listening via the Facebook platforms, also Instagram, I hear that since a while we are even going on an Instagram live. Make sure that you say hi. Let me know where you're tuning in from. All of that, so that we could give a shout out to you. And here we are at High Radio. I think this is a good start to start with a song that will bring us on some good vibes. I think it's the moment for that. Let's just get into a groove and listen to just a Sunday vibe song, and we'll be right back to catch up some more with you.
Can I share my story? Oh, since I'm in the man, what my problem? pomo na wayamame no greater love as I want them to come find me. And ready I do my am a better me. No if buts and maybes. How can this love be? I will be about it all you've done for me. Can wrap my mind around it all you've done for me. I'll tell the world about it. Cause any shame surrounding be the past of me. Mad dog, mad dog, mad dog, mad dog, mad dog. Amazing love, then it's almighty love. And then it's incomparable, feeling like no words can describe. No money day, you bring me through it. Troubles away, I have to fight it. You are my strength. I'm so glad that you are the change in me. How can this love be in 1,000 years? All you've done for me in my lifetime, all you've done for me. Can't wrap my mind around it. I'll tell the world about it. Oh, mad dog, mad dog. Oh, mad dog, mad dog, mad dog. Mad dog, mad dog, mad dog. Oh, mad dog, mad dog. Mad dog. Don't you wait for tomorrow. We gon' change on today. We know tomorrow gon' be different. And together we gonna shine, shine, shine. Oh, united we will change our story. And forever we gonna smile, smile. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But for today I choose to be happy. And nothing gonna change my mind today. We not gonna be my portion. And nothing gonna change my mind today. All my hope is in you, cause you never let me down. Lord, you don't change my story, and my head go never frown. Oh, my hope is in you, and I'm looking unto you. For tomorrow go be better day, I no go be frown. Tomorrow, I have hope for tomorrow. Don't you wait for tomorrow. We won't change on today. You are the one who lights up my day. And without you, I never get this far. No matter what, even evil comes my way. You are the one who lifts my head in all. All of my friends have all gone their way. They want to ask me how I come this far. I tell them all my hope is here to stay. The Lord Almighty will never let me fall. All my hope is in you, cause you never let me down. Lord, you don't change my story, and my head go never frown. All my hope is in you, and I'm looking unto you. For tomorrow go be better day, I no go they frown. Tomorrow, I go change for tomorrow. Don't you wait for tomorrow. He has done it today. Tomorrow, I go change my tomorrow. Don't you wait for tomorrow. He has done it today. All my hope is in you, 'cause you never let me down. Lord, you don't change my story, and my head go never frown. All my hope is in you, and I'm looking onto you. For tomorrow be a better day, I no go they frown.
Yes, we're back again on Africa on Focus. So earlier, you listened to my latest single called "Tomorrow." By the way, my EP will be coming up this Friday, actually. So I have a bit of a celebration. I have a bit of a celebration to do, and it's a lot of things coming on the way. So that was a bit of my music EP, Rooted, and it's coming out. When is it? This Friday. So better watch out for that. Make sure that you follow me on my social medias to stay updated on all details. Anyway, you're listening to Africa on Focus on High Radio. And here is where we interact with global Africans and share our success stories. Every week, I make sure that I bring about a topic or anything of interesting, empowering that it could be to our community. And today we have a few interesting topics to talk about. And SARS, oh my gosh, there's been a lot of news picking up on that. It started really slow. Something that has been going on for years, but now instead of it going on the surface of the news and our people, now it's really joining the world together to join forces and fight with our Nigerian brothers and sisters. So we will be talking about that in a bit, and also we will be talking about Black History Month. How important is it for especially our young people to know of their history and all of that and so much more, and of course how to combat Zoom fatigue. Zoom fatigue, now it's really a thing. I mean, we're working from home. A lot of us are working from home, and people have to be careful that they don't enter into some kind of crazy fatigue or any of that. But let's start with the first thing. Did you now pick up anything on your news line about SARS?
About SARS, yeah, there was this Nigerian guy who was on YouTube, and he did a vlog due to this occasion because they were having protests in the streets,
Yeah.
and flew to one of them, and then started interviewing like the people,
Yeah.
the some of the participants
Yeah.
of the demonstrations.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting. That's where I actually really got to learn how individuals felt about SARS and what was really going on. Because you can read articles. I mean, there was this thesis done in 2016 or even 14,
Yeah.
already talking about
Right.
yeah,
That's
the
also
s- the
something I
SARS.
discovered.
So I was reading through it. What's the history behind SARS? Why did it even start? What are the, because apparently there have been years of them being sued, like brought in
Yeah.
court, in court, and actually individuals winning cases as well.
Individuals are winning.
Yeah, so that actually led to, because it was closed down. Apparently SARS has been closed down.
Supposedly shut down.
Shut down like 2 times already.
Right.
But so I was reading through these academic papers, and that gave me like a background. But then I watched this vlog in particular, and hearing people's testimonies, like they would even SARS or officers from the SARS team, they would harass people. They would
Yeah.
literally, if you had an iPhone, you were in trouble.
Right.
Like, that already gave them a right or a purpose or a means to take your iPhone.
Right.
Some people would be locked up for no reason, just
Yeah.
for one night or one night.
Sort of an abuse of power.
Exactly. And what was remarkable is the fact that it happened to women as well. So that was this is the information I got from the vlogs, which was in the academic papers. But yeah, it's a real big
Yeah.
issue going on there. And,
Yeah.
and it's so I'm glad they're doing this demonstration, and apparently in London, in front of the Nigerian embassies, they've also
Yeah.
done some protesting, etc. So
Absolutely.
that's what what I've picked up on.
Yeah, definitely. Also, upon my research, it started, was it 2 weeks ago? I also discovered that, even though we are looking at it, the movement hashtag NSARS, and that's most of the time what happens with movements is that it's like the tail of a major thing happening. You know what I mean? And of course, the movement helps it for the world to pick up and have everybody be on board to somehow ask for attention.
Right.
But you just realize that all of these movements, they're not really if you're looking to solve it with the movements, it's probably going to take some time.
Yeah,
That's what I've realized.
Yeah, definitely. One, like any big organization or any big name, there's some bureaucracy involved, right? So that
Yeah.
will take some time.
Yeah.
And through bureaucracy is, you always have to go through peoples, through functions, through lines of communication that
Yeah.
it just takes longer.
Yeah.
But it's good that it's happening because those steps also have to be made. But then
Sure.
on the other hand, real actions, people have to let others know how they really feel about things.
Yeah.
That's what the demonstrations are for.
Yeah.
Like happened with the Black Lives Matter movement.
Mm-hmm.
The Black Lives Matter movement as a group was there, or as a structure was there,
Yeah.
and the demonstrations, whether locally or nationally, were also very important because
Yeah.
people had to literally show the government or the state what they were experiencing.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful, and I also like the fact that it became international. So
Yeah.
other countries and Nigerians and
Yeah.
blacks and Africans from other countries
Exactly.
also wanted to show their support,
Yeah.
like we did for the George Floyd case in the States. So this is
Yeah.
beautiful.
And it's not, so now people understand that it's not SARS as in the virus. Because I heard on some shows that, come on, I thought it was the virus. So I had to really,
Well,
read through on that.
First thing when 2 weeks ago or last week when I typed in SARS, that's what I got. Like
That's what you got, yeah.
The virus.
But not now.
No,
Well,
it's just made up.
Apparently, things have really gotten out of hand. I mean, especially young people that went on the streets and they were getting shot at this week. So things really got out of hand. Some surveillance cameras were shut down while police or army or whoever they are started shooting on young people. So it really started to become a bit serious and scary at the same time. And one of the details shared is that, the Nigeria and SARS protests on quite violent way. Key protest groups says stay at home. So instead of people going on the streets, people are now staying home, in fear of their lives. A group that has been key in organizing protests against police brutality that have gripped Nigeria in the last 2 weeks has urged people to stay at home. Why? And the Feminist Coalition also advised people to follow any curfews that may be in place in their state. President Muhammadu Buhari called for an end to the protests in a TV speech. And the streets of Nigeria's biggest city, Lagos, the center of the protests, remained quiet on Thursday night, but there is an atmosphere of fear. A lot of the stories have been going live on that. I've been seeing, phone footages of people getting shot. Like, it's really that serious. And Lagos and other parts of Nigeria have been seen building torched, shopping centers looted, and prisons attacked since Tuesday night shooting of protesters in Lagos. And rights group Amnesty International said security forces killed at least 12 people, although Nigeria's army has denied its involvement. So here is another case of a hot mess. And the protests began on 7 October with mostly young people demanding the scrapping of a notorious police unit, the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS. And although President Buhari said it had been dissolved on 11th of October, the protests have carried on because people don't believe it. I wouldn't either. And broadened to include demands for broader reforms in the way Nigeria is governed. And in other developments, also, the authorities in Lagos have released a list of police officers put on trial for alleged human rights violations in the state. Normalcy is also gradually returning to capital Abuja. And the southwest state of Osun has suspended a 24-hour curfew imposed to deal with the riots. What did President Buhari say in his speech? On Thursday night, President Buhari urged protesters to stop demonstrating and instead engage with the government in finding solutions. He did not, however, mention the shooting of protesters in Lagos, which has led to global condemnation and criticism. His speech has been widely criticized on social media, the birthplace of the EndSARS movement. For many, it was tone deaf in that it failed to substantially address some of the key demands of the protesters. But it also reinforced the disillusionment with the current government many young Nigerians have been feeling, correspondents say. I really reflect on this, and it looks like a Black Lives Matters all over again, isn't it?
Definitely does. It definitely does. And you can tell by the failure of action from the administration or from the government side. So that's alarming. That actually shows they don't care
Yeah.
too much,
They
or
don't.
they don't care enough, which is unfortunate. Which is really
Yeah.
very, it's really unfortunate, because on one hand we can say Black Lives Matter in a society where we say there is white supremacy,
Right.
But then if this happens in our own countries, in our own,
This is bad luck.
from our own president, and this happens and we are crying out to him, and then this is the response we get. Yeah,
It's not a good look.
no, definitely not.
It's definitely not a
This
at
is
all.
bad. This is really bad. It's
At
alarming.
all.
And I hope I hope they do something very soon. I don't know. I have no idea how the political structure is set up in Nigeria when it comes to elections and those kind of stuff. But yeah,
It's something else. One thing that also struck out to me was, obviously it's a lot of young people, because one thing I read today is that I think more than half of the population is youth
right. But Africa has that all over.
as a whole.
Yes, a whole.
Right. 200 million like Nigerians. That is crazy. That is crazy. And I also think it's bad. It's bad if you start shooting your youth. I don't know. It's just, I'm somebody, like, I think kind of deep on these things. I'm like, no, this is bad for a nation to be shooting your youth like that. And I mean, I know that, they have a curfew. Obviously, they're going wild and things, but to just be shooting on people like that. Because one thing I also read is that, influential people like Davido and stuff just went to the locations of protests to hold, the police from firing, basically.
Yeah.
So look at the type of influence they have. They can just cause. And there was this footage on his feed, where he's with his security people and talking to the police and stuff. Because I think that it would be a fit, if somebody would shoot him. I mean, looking at who his dad is, right?
Yeah.
Somebody is going to pay for it, obviously. So having those influential people, making sure that there won't be any shooting and stuff, really shows that where the power lies. It's a different dynamic
Yeah,
of power. That is really what you see.
Yes, true, exactly. And to me, that worsens the case for me.
Yeah, in a way. I get that.
Why would you need? Why do you need celebrities? Or
I know.
to show you that whatever you're doing is not correct. I mean, you are the so-called educated ones. You are the ones with degrees.
Yeah.
How can you not figure a plan? And I'm looking at this like this is not only a lazy way of dealing with issues, but it's also it's an outdated mentality. it's backwards.
Absolutely.
To start protesting with violence, right? Because this is literally what they're doing. Even their whole policy against these so-called criminal youth or the Yahoo boys or whatnot is backwards. Like, there are intelligent ways of, attacking crime or, dissolving crime.
Yeah.
And for the record, Nigeria is not the only place that's struggling with their means and ways of attacking crime or dealing with criminal activities in the community. I mean, go to the United States. They have in the book Talking to Strangers by Malcolm Gladwell. He breaks down how the police department is set up, like their whole way of policing, their method of policing doesn't lead to dealing with crime in a healthy and social responsible way.
Right.
Their way of policing, the method chose for them within their academic and their training courses, it's what's leading them to, oh, that's the guy with the hoodie, let's get it. Oh, and then it goes out of hand, and then you get the nail in your neck, and then you get
the worst
joke,
case scenarios.
right? So looking at Nigeria, it's also within their police department training, wherever that may stem from. That kind of like trains them in a way to look at, oh, you see an iPhone and you see this kind of shoe or that kind of brand on this individual between this age and that age, he's doing something suspicious.
Yeah. And it seems that there are a couple of traits that that make, I don't know, for them to think, one is a criminal. It has to do with dreads. It has to do with tattoos. It has to do with. I learned about a case of why they falsely arrested a guy who was into IT. So he was, a consultant, digital, and obviously you're indoors the whole time.
Right.
But he was arrested because they found it suspicious that, why could you be working and be indoors all the time? It was just crazy. I think in a bit we're going to look at some of the grounds they arrest people on and have the conversation. In the meantime, let's go ahead for some music, and then we're going to return to talk a bit more about NSARS, because I really want to bring the awareness to it, so that people could really understand what's going on, the dynamics of what's happening on African soil, and even though we can't directly fix the problem, we could help to recognize where, some of the issues lie, and also look at some other fears, because I've seen some statements saying, even Nigerians saying, Ghanaians should be really happy with what they have, because our government is crazy. If something is to happen in Nigeria, Nigerians going to come to Ghana. They're not going to Togo. They're not going, so you know better know.
There, so
right. So that is probably also a scenario that could cause some friction, because in the past it has, a couple of times. So let's go ahead and listen to Blessed of God by Marizu, and then we will come right on back to talk more about NSARS and how we could turn it into the empowerment of our people.
Silence in bed, Toastmasters truly really never get fed. She telling me I'm too much into my head. I'm thinking I'm stressed, I could use some. I might seem off, no teleprompter for me to read off. Put the pedal to the metal, then I speed off. Of course, feel bananas, so I peel off. Man for the evolve, in a world full of snakes, I feel like an oddity. Trust nowadays is such a rare commodity. Me, I do my thing, no apology. That be why me, my rep, be quality. Tell a junkie, if it tests, I go ruin them. Me, I manifest writing lines while they doing them. Big beer like an allergy. Me, I do my thing, no apology. No apologies. Energy, come follow me, I'm fine. On my wave, don't bother me. Come light up a flame, let's live a dream. No apologies. Good energy, come follow me. Come wind up your waist like Natalie. Can I get on this? Make me vibe, you're so sweet, yeah. Sweet, yeah. Bruce me with caution. He just make me no showers. Really mean, no me no want stress. Bad mind can't pass through the entrance. If I no good news, no man send me text. And if you're not next, then no show interest. You vex car, you got stuck in the ring. You can't tap one breath, tap me back in. I know you don't want to go the thing, but she don't want no dog, it's just a fling. I really mean it, just be cool. I need you to take time and be easy. Please don't be there. No apologies. Good energy, come follow me. I'm fine on my wave, don't bother me. Come light up a flame, let's never dream. No apologies. Good energy, come follow me. Come wind up your waist like Natalie. Can I get at least make the vibe so sweet, change? Been a while for the snakes, I feel like an big beer like an allergy. Me, I do my thing, no apology. No apologies. Good energy, come follow me. I'm fine on my wave, don't bother me. Come light up a flame, let's never dream. No apologies. Good energy, come follow me. Come wind up your waist like Natalie. Can I get at least make the vibe so sweet? No apologies. Good energy, come.
Shout out to Mike's Quest, because that was his record collaborating with Manifest and Kimon. Mike's Quest was a special guest here at not here at the studio, but here on Africa on Focus to talk about his business ventures last week. So make sure that you look that up and find out who this person behind the music is. And before that, you listen to Marizu with Blessed of God. You are now listening to Africa on Focus. I am your host, MS.ABA, alongside Donny Addison, the one and only. We're talking about NSARS. NSARS is now really taking on a global attention now, because it's really serious. Now, if we even research what SARS is made up of, let me just put it that way. The young Nigerians who forced the president to back down. So widespread protests over Nigeria's hated Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS, are a sign that the country's massive young population is finding its voice and demanding reforms in Nigeria's most populous country, which has been characterized by poor governance since its independence 60 years ago. Despite forcing the president to disband the unit, they are not satisfied, as they want total police reforms and for officers in the Rock Department to face justice. But it goes beyond this, because the wave of protests have given a platform to a section of the country's young population who are deeply dissatisfied. On the streets, those marching are mostly comfortably off young people, some with dyed hair, pierced nose, and tattooed bodies. It is the sort of gathering that security personnel are quick to label criminals, but in truth, these are largely hardworking young people who have mostly had to fend for themselves without support from the states. Look at that. The majority of them are between 18 and 24 years old, so young, have never experienced steady electricity in their lifetime, and did not enjoy free education in the country, and had their years at university punctuated and elongated by lecturers going on a strike. That's even a lot of things have been happening, if you even listen to that. The frustration with the police is a reflection of the frustration with the state in general. What have I benefited from this country since I was born? Asked Victoria Pang, a 22-year-old graduate who was at one of the protests in the capital, Abuja, and one of the many women who have been at the forefront of the demonstrations. Our parents say there was a time when things were good, but we have never experienced it. So why was SARS so hated? Police officers in Nigeria generally have a reputation for corruption, brutality, and little regard for human rights. But people have especially strong feelings against SARS, which has developed a notoriety for unduly profiling young people. A report in June by Amnesty International said it documented at least 82 cases of torture, ill treatment, and extrajudicial execution by SARS between January 2017 and May 2020. The Nigerian authorities have failed to prosecute a single officer despite anti-torture legislation passed in 2017. So here you see a case of legislation supposedly, handling things, but it's not. And evidence that its members continue to use torture and other ill treatment to execute, punish, and extract information from suspects. Those considered flashy or well to do, anything from having a nice car to a laptop, or those with tattoos or dreadlocks, attracted the attention of SARS officers. And the profiling of young Nigerians runs deep in society. Young people who are well off and whose lifestyle does not conform to the norms in this conservative country are often labeled Yahoo boys, just what you mentioned, a slang term for internet scammers. This is especially true of those who work with laptops, while there are accounts of neighbors who have called security officials on young people who work from home. That is not a good one, especially now in this lockdown. Oh, that would be terrible. My estate once called police officers to come pick me up because I was always at home and turning the generator on and living well, which is from Bright Echefu, a 22-year-old website developer who joined the protest in Abuja, told the BBC. That is crazy. For a long time, tattoos, dreadlocks, and piercings are choosing a non-conventional career paths who have been associated with irresponsibility in some families, religious organizations, communities, and even schools. How does having a tattoo on my arm make me a criminal? Asked Joy Yulo, an undergraduate at a protest, and some of it has come from the top. President Muhammadu Buhari, age 77, who in the past described Nigerian youth as lazy to an international audience, recently advised that those whose economic livelihoods had been wiped out by the coronavirus lockdown to go into farming, as they are able-bodied. Wow, that is a piece of advice that has no regard for where you are in life.
Yeah, that's bad. And this is coming from the president. Oh, dear president, Mr. President, who are you?
I must say that I won't say Ghana is perfect, but
You can say Ghana's more peaceful.
I can imagine why a lot would run to Ghana. The demonstrations on the street gathered momentum last Wednesday and were further boosted on Thursday after musicians Runtown and Fowls stepped in. Fowls is actually the artist that did a rerun of "This Is America." You know that song?
Ah, yeah.
And he made a "This Is Nigerian."
Okay.
And it was actually banned by the Nigerian government at
Oh,
some point.
really?
Yeah, because he used that song to point out Nigeria's,
Hey,
weaker side.
this is getting worse.
I know.
Like in my mind, it's
Yeah.
like everything they do, it's
Yeah. And the real energy was injected later that day when a woman named Renu galvanized other protesters to spend the night outside Government House in Lagos. So with celebrities adding their voice to the hashtag #EndSARS, it jumped to the top global trend on Twitter and drew international support from UK-based footballers like Mesut Ozil and Marcus Rashford, musicians and actors. Nigeria's global superstar, Wizkid and Davido, who are also part of this generation of protesters, have been physically present in London and Abuja, where the latter's presence stopped police officers from shooting at protesters. That is crazy. I've also seen Burna Boy, I think he's in London or something like that, and it was at the ambassador, at the embassy or something like that. It's I must say that if we look at some of the facts, there are those who feel like this is the beginning of something special in Nigeria. In the month that the country marked the 60th anniversary of its independence, more than 60% of Nigeria's population are less than 24 years old, according to UN population figures. But this group has long been accused of having time for frivolities, reality TV, football, and social media, rather than paying attention to governance.
Oh, there's so many, like,
There are so many layers to this.
yeah.
Very, and it's so
many,
difficult because on the side of the people, there are so many layers to this. A lot is not being able to find a job, but then again, the youth being really creative and jumping on internet to find means to make money. And then you have the leaders that don't, the leaders who have their own reputation of getting funding, but then taking a lot of the funding for a project for their own. That's the type of African leaders that we are leaning on. And I'm really scared for how this is
Yeah.
going to continue.
And I don't think it will end in the favor of the people, to be honest. Unless, I don't know, unless a miracle happens.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, and this goes to every community, every group,
Yeah.
and every aspect of life, whether it be legal, health, social, education, economics. So when you have the decision making authority in the hands of the older ones or the elderly ones,
Yeah.
it's easier to like let it go than to take that away
Right.
from them.
Right.
They're not going to give that up so easily.
Yeah.
So that's why politics is so hard. That's why
It's
when
actually a game, and that's why Trump masters it really well.
you know, so it's hard. And when you're dealing with here a nation where 60%, over 60% is under 24, like that
That's a
gap,
lot.
it's a lot. Meaning that all the power is in the hands of
The minority.
the minority, and they're not going to let that go. Not today, not tomorrow. They are willing to hold that till they die. And that's why I just said it's going to take multiple generations to actually overcome this. Why? Because you literally have to wait, and I don't know if this is going to be censored, but you have to you're going to wait till these people literally die.
Right.
That's when power can be transferred in a proper way
Yeah.
for to be well distributed across the entire population.
Yeah.
Right? And to have this done, you literally have to come into the 60% and pick those out
Yeah.
and put them or give the power to those people. And I don't see that happen
Yeah.
anytime soon, especially with remarks like the one the president made. And
The one
I'm
that
paraphrasing.
The youth are
yeah.
lazy, or the one that
They're
always on
lazy, they
social
should go
media.
into agriculture. How can you say this to even your kids, perhaps?
I know,
Like,
right?
why? This is from a place of disregard and non-empathy, and
None.
it's
None.
very, and this doesn't give anyone like a point of or a source of hope
It doesn't.
that, hey, maybe he's willing to sit down at the table. No, the idea you get is he's only going to sit down at the table if he understand that he's going to keep all the power, and you're going to do anything to favor him.
Yeah.
So when they censoring videos, when they censoring this, you censoring public. It's like when a communist country like China censors is censoring outer source media, like what they do when like in China they're very but they're a communist country. Fine.
Yeah.
Nigeria so claimed democratic, and you
Democratic,
doing
yeah.
these. This is not good. This is really bad, and I don't know where it's.
And with a large population, that's even the scary bit.
Yeah, it's-
China has a large population, but obviously their power structure really controlled. How
Yeah.
everything when they they control it
with
their tech and everything. But this is not even that case.
This is awful. This is bad. But hey, I think Africa, we have to go through these, and it's going to take us
Yeah.
it's going to take us a long time,
Yeah.
to be honest. But we have to get through them. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't understand why people literally think that we can straight jump from A to like E. No. We have to go through these things. These are the figures. These are the individuals that will write the history of Nigeria, that in maybe a century, when Nigeria is finally there where they want to be, and the Wakanda is there. that you can look at. Hey, this is
Yeah.
what happened in 2020, and
Yeah.
right, and this leader, and so we have to deal with that leader in
Yeah.
this way for 20 years, and then finally, when we got the chance, the young took over. Bam. The intellect was there,
Yeah.
the education was there, everyone was ready. Because that's the thing, if he steps down, what's going to happen? Do the young ones think that they have the correct representatives
Yeah.
put in place to ensure that whatever power is transferable, it gets to the right hand? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think if he steps down, guess what? Another Muhammad Buhari is going to step into that
Yeah.
role.
Yeah.
Right. So we literally have to get through this, and I'm saying, like, Africa has only had independence for less than 70 years. So we're still babies in the when it comes to nation building.
Yeah.
So corruption, barbaric ways or backwards ways of doing politics, having less infrastructure, all these things. The knowledge is out there, but
Yeah.
we don't have the experience yet.
Yeah.
Like the system of democracy is something that we just learned and adapt.
We're adapting to.
We're adapting to
We're
it.
not even how it's.
Yeah,
I mean, we're just not.
How many presidents has Ghana had?
I don't
less
even
than
know how
less
many
than
top of
10.
my head.
So that already shows you where we are.
Right.
Meanwhile, looking at the United States, they are in their 50th president or what. So like that's 2 centuries of bad leadership, this leadership, that leadership, and then you learn from those things. So unfortunately, this is one of those things, Africa, we have to go through. But I hope we're taking notes.
Yeah.
I hope we are taking notes, and I hope every individual, like, you can demonstrate, but also make sure that you take up something and, like, hey, I see this is solve that. So
Right.
what happens is everyone sees something in society not going wrong. Yes, we protest, but on the other hand, we also make it our life's choices or our life's mission to solve that. If we all do that, like within now and 15 years, and brother Palgrave has been saying it takes 34 years to shift an entire nation.
Right.
So if the 24 years and younger start doing that now, in 30 years time, they'll be on the other side.
Yeah.
But they will have all the power. So what will happen is they understand that, hey, we got through SARS, this and that and that.
Yeah.
So they will be the one distributing the authority and to ensuring that Nigeria gets to that place where they want
Right.
to be.
Right.
But it's 2 things: demonstrate, but also make it your personal task or responsibility to fix and what you find
Right.
malfunctioning. And this
Right.
is also something I picked up reading the book of Jordan Peterson. It's called 12 Rules of Life.
Yeah.
Like, I have it in my bag. I recommend everyone to buy this book, to read it, because it shows how you can give your life a meaning. Working towards this, towards solving this problem.
Right.
Why? Because I want to dedicate my life to it, because I really care. I'm saddened by it. I'm hurt when I read these things about those things. So I'm going to do that for my people.
Yeah.
And it only takes a couple. I mean, we don't have the. If we all do it, fine.
Yeah.
But hey,
Yeah.
people have their own lives. But it only takes a certain amount of people to do this. And trust me, if we all do this, yes, the impact is going to be, it's going to be life changing, and we can. It won't take us 40 presidents to understand that. Hey, this is no. It will just take us a couple. Then we
Right.
know. Okay, no, we're not voting for that one, because voting power is also still yours. It's a power that we actually have. Use it wisely, I would say, to Nigerians. And this also goes for Ghana. Like,
Start,
I'm
start your
Ghanaian talking.
agribusiness.
Yeah, we also have our demons that we actually face
Yeah.
within our country.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. Well, let's look at let's listen to you one. I hope that it shows up on the feed. A comedian, or he's a comedian based in Ghana. He's a Nigerian, and he really said some interesting words on the way things are going in Nigeria. Let's see if it comes up on this.
Yes, people have been asking me in Ghana, why are the rock in our country they come Ghana? That's because we have no country. What we are fighting for in Nigeria as a youth, that's what Ghanaians people you are enjoying for free, 24/7 lights. Your police are okay, they will beg you to arrest you. Passion, move it. Passion, move it. Passion, you're under arrest. Peace, you have it. The only thing Ghana you people love, you people lack is love. How to support your own, how to show yourself love. 2020 election is coming. Ghanaian people are anticipating. You want war. You will not agree. You will not do this. You will not. Are you ready to fight? Can you see what is happening in Nigeria? Are you ready for the war? Maintain your peace. When Nigeria, Ghanaian people, you look up to Nigeria in so many things. When it comes to pastor, we have the biggest pastor, we have the biggest businessmen, we have the biggest musicians, we have the biggest armed robbers, we have the biggest kidnapper. Our vice president is a pastor, not just a pastor, a big pastor. Still, God has given us all these great men of God in Nigeria, but still the country is not good. It's not because God has not called them. It's because when God gives you something, it is your own responsibility to take care of it now. God will not come down from heaven and take care of it for you. Ghanaians, maintain your peace, because you have nowhere to run to. When it happened in Nigeria, we run to Ghana. We run to Ghana. Where are we going to run to? Togo, no day safe. Our flower no be country. The one they can't enjoy. Where we want to go? Where we want to go?
And that was Parrot Mouth. He is a personality in Ghana, and he's in Nigeria. Do you think he's talking truth?
oh yeah, definitely. Oh, yep. That is some truth.
Makes me appreciate
All facts.
makes me appreciate Ghana even more.
Yes.
I do predict there could be a great migration.
It's already happening. It's already happening.
And it would really test really the hearts of us people, of how we stand against when others need the soil that we live on. And you know what I mean?
Oh man, President of Ghana, sit at the table with Honorable President Muhammad Buhari,
Right,
to solve this
teach
as
him
quick
a
as
few
possible.
things. Teach him a few things. I think it is safe to say I understand why people would say that Ghana has peace, and Ghana is such a good example of you can be white and walk around the street and still people leave you alone.
Yeah.
So I do think that even though as Africa as a continent, we have so much to do and so much to learn from. Per country, of course, it differs. Congo has its own. In Congo, there's also a lot of craziness happening at the moment. And to have a nation like Ghana, I think this is really to consider and look at how can we improve, Ghana even the more. Not just be relaxed with this, obviously. In the meantime, I would like to hear from our listeners. What are you thinking? I just want to give a shout out to Ni Jata, who says, we have peace, yes, but there are so much injustice in Ghana too. I think what they shared online was child trafficking. I don't know the details of that, but I've heard it. The type of police force that we have doesn't make everybody happy. I've seen some videos. I'll figure out if I still have it on my phone where somebody went ham on a police officer. He said, "What kind of money you need? 5 CDs, 10 CDs? Yeah, I can bribe you for this? What are you kind of police people? So just the fact that any police officer is bribable is also a wrong thing.
Yeah.
Shout out to GH Kings, who says, "Please, what is the name of the book? The book that you mentioned?"
I'll show you the book. The name of the book is 12 Rules of Life The Antidote to Chaos by Jordan Peterson. Well,
Okay.
Dr. Jordan Peterson.
That is good thing. Sharing books, man. It's almost 3 minutes after 8 p.m. right from the city of Amsterdam. Let's listen to a song and come back and talk some more about what's going on in the world of Africans. We're gonna talk about Black History Month. How relevant is it? What kind of information do our youth really need to be empowered in this world? Black History Month, of course. We're also going to look at some Black excellence. A former Eritrean refugee has just become the first African MP in New Zealand. How did he do that? Ooh. That and so much more. But first, let's listen to Sarkodie collaborating with legendary Prince Bright on their latest record called Gimme Way. And we'll be right back.
Let's get it.
Want, yeah. Yeah, P on the beat, yeah. Me at a table time where you me sheen ye, my try be careful. That to me to be, ya want me moto, my chia to me no se pebble. Forget to get if I need Musumko, Coco, you are here more circle. Araba, but my never me come around too. In Chawalin me them a check you. Pin, yeah, can't see cane. I'm what it for chain. I'm muy granty. I'm quadobi, or from me cross so once in a pubi. King size bottle, 1 toilet. Lockdown, never corner boys are bojo. Boys are bojo. Never corner boys are bojo.
I'm going to buy a minimum button. I'm going to buy a minimum button. I'm going to buy a minimum button. I don't want nobody telling me I'm a button. I'm going to buy a minimum button. I'm going to buy a minimum button. I'm going to buy a minimum button. I don't want nobody telling me I'm a button. Come on. Give me way, mommy queen. Give me way, mommy queen. Give me way. Open sesame, make the people follow me. Mommy queen. Give me way, mommy queen. Give me way, mommy queen. Give me way. Open sesame, make the people follow me.
Be a quino, now what bring phone be a TSC baby, you will be anchored down. Mumu wine, now what's it what he may be DSC? Then my would think when your men count. Coming who be one, come a quarter that I Ghana for a yemen, Kaya Wanka Wakwele. Yaswaya one of my meaning, make it piano, my dad in agenda, that's still I may boil it. The missus will be back in it to one another. Made I was a cocoa for rap, no man. My young punchlines, Quintiana Masum, who bring paying Casa Joe, one of whom my breg and I guess, maybe something abroad. You might be do know I give it up to the Lord. Now me feel me a hard guy, onto doctor, you and the empty bottle, be man me award. But anyway, that was a bad situation. And I miss you, I know I didn't dad the quenchi. So make a quality time, I'm wasting. When I could be making sweet love to Tracy, I really me, keep way, mommy pine, or rap no, am I weak in Tabo dying? Would you be a never you know, become a 9. Big shouts to my Americans, I sent to my
I'm going to buy a minimum button. I'm going to buy a minimum button. I'm going to buy a minimum button. I don't want nobody telling me I'm a button. I'm going to buy a minimum button. I'm going to buy a minimum button. I'm going to buy a minimum button. I don't want nobody telling me I'm a button. Come on. Give me way, mommy queen. Give me way, mommy queen. Give me way. Open sesame, make the people follow me. Mommy queen. Give me way, mommy queen. Give me way, mommy queen. Give me way. Open sesame, make the people follow me. Want,
Cross the G on the mix.
give me way, mommy queen. Give me way, mommy queen. Give me way. Open sesame, make the people follow me. Mommy queen. Give me way, mommy queen. Give me way, mommy queen. Give me way. Open sesame, make the people follow me.
Stacking up my money, no time for your shit. Money kulapo, I don't care for your hate. Me no fighting. Throwing down drums from bungalow out there. I did my penthouse, you can't even reach me. Me no frightened. It is not your fight, stand down. I'm not the one, calm down. You know I'm not your problem. You can't be me, why bother? Don't have your time now. Ole mumi bow down. To bambi no farabala. Oh boy, I go Larry Mole. Okay, okay. It's okay, let them see. Trouble no they pay me. Kinjaye on the daily. Okay, okay. We go te okay. I just want to hear me. Look, look. Hey, baby, it's your daddy. My grace, you define. I get it times two. You dey eye me. Let me remind you. No, they try me. But to bury me, go my berry. Yeah. You got my attention. Now, what you gonna do? You the tension, but your legs are kung fu. Okay, cool it down, down. Cause me no fight it. It's not your fight, stand down. I'm not the one, calm down. You know I'm not your problem. You can't be me, why bother? Don't have your time now. Only move bow down. Over me no farabala. A boy I go Larry Mole. Okay, okay. It's okay, let them see. Trouble no they pay me. Kinjaye on the daily. Okay, okay. We go te okay. I just want to hear me. Look, look.
All right. That was Tingy Ningy. Shout out to Mike Quest because that's one of his production. I absolutely love it. Welcome back to Africa on Focus. I am your host, MS.ABA, alongside my co-host Donnie. And we have been talking about the last hour, actually, about, NSARS. What is it doing to the youth, to young people? And, how can we ensure that there is a good awareness about this, and where could probably the solution lie? I think it's a major problem, that has been going on for years. But now it has reached to the point that, it has welcomed international attention from the likes of the Americas and all of that, bringing light to the fact that, police enforcement is corrupted, and it's the type of corruption that won't be tolerated anymore in Nigeria. I just want to give a shout out to our listeners. Mena Ama, I just want to give a shout out to you. We've been missing you here on the airwaves. I'm just, a sneaky. I'm going on live on Instagram. I just want to give a shout out to a few colleagues. Kwekuanan, runs for shout out to you. Mensa Gary, a shout out to you. Samantha, how are you? How have you been? She says, greetings, Miss Abba and Donnie. Samantha, that's a lovely lady from NYC. She tunes in with us.
Yeah.
every week to interact with us. Mena Ama says, it really breaks my heart seeing our leaders stopping us from our rights. So how did they make those laws for? And that refers to our conversation about NSARS, about the fact that, a lot of young people are especially affected by the fact that, the job opportunities are small. Once they hop on the job opportunity of finding something online, they have a chance of being arrested for being indoors too much and staying at home. So we are definitely bringing our highlights to #NSARS, and hope that by somehow some international pressure, something could be done. We talked about it earlier that Johnny was even, it might take some generations for that to happen. Let's just keep praying as well for the lives of many people, because I've seen documentaries of young lives just being taken like that. Yeah. I mean, people are being arrested, and when their mom tries to look for them to bail them out, they're nowhere to be found. Like, that's crazy, and something happening, just lives being taken and all of that. I don't think it's right for a nation's future to be on that type of train.
No, it's sad.
I really think it's bad. With Congo, it's almost the same story. And yeah, it's again like, what is happening with our African nations? All right, let's talk about this other topic, Black History Month. Black History Month apparently it needs a wider focus. Did you know that it's a Black History Month in especially UK? Here in the Netherlands, they're trying to, take on the wave and take it on to educate people. On Instagram, I'm hearing that the sound is not clear. Production man, I know you are on the job. So Black History Month needs a wider focus. British colonial exploitation affected many countries, and the descendants of those who suffered should also have the opportunity to explore and criticize it. Benjamin Safania, Black people will not be respected until our history is respected. Look at that. She said on 12th of October, Linda Bellos, who introduced the first Black History Month, BHM, in Britain in 1987, that when she used the term black, it was political and not a reference to skin color. That is, she meant what we would now call Black, Asian, and minority ethnic. However, BHM has largely focused on Black African, Caribbean, and American history, particularly this year with Black Lives Matters and the emphasis on slavery. Yet Shirley Bellows was right. While the evil of slavery was inflicted by those from Britain, exclusively on Black Africans, the history of colonial exploitation by Britain is much bigger. In terms of its duration and scale and of the wealth and populations involved, in the countries that came under the British Raj than in Africa or elsewhere, that it is not to minimize the effect of slavery. However, the descendants of those who suffered under the Raj are in effect denied the opportunity to explore and criticize this history that BHM provides for those of Black African descent. The situation needs to be rectified, and that is what she is saying. Black History Month, we've touched on this topic before, and we were even asking ourselves, like, okay, so what do we get from this? Is it to empower people, or is it to enhance our knowledge, or what is it for? Because it seemed to be a month that keeps passing by, and I know I do follow sometimes the highlights of the American Black History Month, which is in February, because for some reason my years ago on primary school, my journey as to, who Black people are started actually with Black history rather than the history of Ghana.
With the American Black history?
With the American Black history, absolutely. So for that, their narrative kind of was at the same time also very empowering to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Martin Luther King, the greats, and identifying with how they look like, and all of that.
Yes.
So the British history really has been somewhat, I don't know, I've been diving into it the last year, and I realized there is this connecting story. You know what I mean? It's just the same story.
It is.
But then from a different light.
It is from a different light.
Here is another interesting read, and that is about Black children must be able to believe in themselves, and that's what Black History Month is for. Okay, well, it sounds like a thing. And the editors noted that after visiting the U.S. in the 1970s, Achaba Ade Sebo in 1987 initiated Black History Month in the UK. And that sounds really Ghanaian. We need to dive into that, which is celebrated in October. He moved to the UK to seek refuge from political persecution in Ghana. Whoa, when was that? In 1984. Working to promote diversity in a variety of roles for organizations, including the Greater London Council, African Refugees Housing Action Group, Notting Hill Carnival, and Organization of African Unity. In 2014, he was executive producer of One Humanity, a documentary in the 1980 and 1990 Wembley concerts for Nelson Mandela. That's a piece of history that I'm like, okay, I will dive into that. If Black History Month is about that, let's go.
It's not history though. That's the thing. It's too close to.
You think so? Is it too soon to categorize it?
As that as history? Yes.
Why?
I mean, in the field of, in the field of history, or people's history or human history, it's this is like 6 years ago.
6 years. Nah,
2014,
man.
right?
Nah.
Yeah, that's
No, but I do like the story of this. Was it like political persecution in 1984 from Ghana? Like, what happened in Ghana that had somebody to
but that is also recent history, 1980.
Okay. Well, anyway, Black History Month is a celebration of our diversity, all of the colors of the rainbow that sparkle out of the black hole of creation. Okay. We share common roots in the dark, tropical wombs of our mothers, and our strength lies in the variety within our oneness. BHM pays eternal tribute to this fact of our origins during the splendor of the days following the fall equinox, a glorious spectacle of seasonal balance, harmony we also need in our relations with one another. October is a period of recognition, reconciliation, renewal, and a review of the state of Black Britain. BHM was created for the younger generation to own and fill with rich and enabling content. It was inspired by 6-year-old Marcus, whose mother named him after legendary Black nationalist leader Marcus Garvey. She and I worked at the Greater London Council, the capital's main governing body, now replaced by the Greater London Authority. And she came in distraught one day because her son had asked her why he could not be white. She felt that British society and the school system had failed Marcus by making him question his identity in that early age. So there's a lot of the narrative is quite broad as to how this BHM started.
Yep.
It's leading to, I don't know. It's leading to, and at the end of the day, people just want their story to be heard. It's about history,
That's the thing.
being noted. What do you think? Looking at this, I do like the fact that, from the angle of educating young people, as in, who are the greats, who are the one that made impact, this and this is possible. You don't have to look like the reigning white person. What do you think of, Black History Month in that sense? Do you think it's worth being celebrated or noted?
Yeah, I think when we was it the first week of October that we spoke about?
We
on
did.
this?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, it was on a return to the studio, right? And then
Yeah.
we introduced the topic as well, and said one of the good things the good thing I feel about the having a Black History Month is the fact that it allows an introduction, or it allows exposure of African history into academia.
Right.
That is what I found
Yeah.
good about Black History Month in this world.
Right.
Other than that, there's no not much to it. I mean, the information is already out there.
Yeah.
So the only thing that really changes is who is going to present that information and through what distribution.
Right.
And believe it or not, the academia or the education system is the largest distribution of information. Why? Because it goes directly through the system to your kids,
Right.
who don't have it. So when this lady talks about her son coming back home with this identity that he doesn't recognize himself, exactly.
Right.
So and the school is the easiest person, or the education system is the easiest entity to connect or to provide this information. Hence Black History Month.
Right.
So it goes through this distribution system. But other than that, I mean, hey, you don't need a Black History Month if you as a parent are giving your child the information needed. Like,
Right.
well, why else would you need a Black History Month? The child already knows where it's coming from. The child already know their history, the family history, what they're from. And so that, if that is done from the family or household perspective, then fine. But the other great thing, the other, let's say, benefits of going through the academia by means of the Black History Month is the fact that not only Africans kids get this information, also the other kids. So Indian children get this information.
Yeah.
Europeans, Asians who are in the same classroom or in the same school institutions get this information. So it goes to the greatest public,
Right.
to the ones who need it the most. Yeah. So in that sense, yes, we need Black History Month for that purpose.
Right.
But we cannot rely on Black History Month to give our children the identity that we should be giving them. And that's where I think people can go wrong when they expect the identity, or the African identity, to be given to their kids
Yeah.
by the United States government or by the Dutch government. No, it's a Dutch government.
Yeah.
They can't teach your kids how to be African. That's their identity. So you have to be able to teach them. What they can do is, by means of the Black History Month, give them, hey,
Right.
a short history lesson, or this is where Ghana, this is where Ghana is, and this
Yeah.
is how Ghana became Ghana, or from the Britain.
Yeah.
This is the Great Britain Empire, their ties with Ghana, and how Ghana actually went from Gold Coast to become Ghana, and how they are still affiliated with the Britons and all that. So
Yeah.
the Britons can give them information, the Ghana information or the Ghana history to Ghanaian children in the UK. However, it's the parents who can make that child feel Ghanaian.
Right.
So I think that distinction is also very important when we talk about
Yeah.
the purpose, the meaning, or the urge for a thing as Black History Month. I don't think we have that in the Netherlands.
No, we don't.
There's no official Black History Month yet in the Netherlands, but should there be an outcry for a Black History Month? Only if we understand that, hey,
Yeah.
we're not looking for African identity for our kids. We're just looking for information for every Dutch kid or young adults or even adults within the academia.
Right.
I think that should be then the focus of having such, or pursuing a thing
Yeah.
as Black History Month.
Yeah. That's an interesting perspective. And by the way, I've noticed that there are like several people that are responsible for introducing Black History Month. I mean, on one read, it's Linda Bellos, and on another read, it's our very own Ghanaian Achaba Ade Sebo
In the UK?
In the UK. So I think that I'll probably say they all introduce it with a different narrative. Well, in this case, in 1987 was the 150th anniversary of the Caribbean emancipation, which is also something that I am learning now. The centenary of the birth of Marcus Garvey, and the 25th anniversary of the Organization of African Unity, an institution dedicated to advancing the progress of African states. And the new London Strategic Policy Unit declared it an African Jubilee year, calling on UK authorities to recognize the contributions of Africans to the economic, cultural, and political life of the UK.
That's where I think they mess things up. Like,
Right.
you're looking for it's simple with me. If you have like a slave and a slave master relationship, if you have that, and you get yourself, or slavery get abolished, and you find yourself being independent, there's no point of still looking to who used to be your slave master for
As a recognition. Of
yeah,
something.
anything
That's
of
interesting.
recognition. But this is what we call the post traumatic slavery. It's a real psychological state. It happens with even abusers, or in abusive relationship. It also happens, like the abuser, or the one who gets abused finally breaks free.
Right.
But somehow, somewhere, he or she still have this urge to find contact with the abuser, right? So are we Africans still suffering from that? it sounds like it, because if you still look into these colonial powers for any recognition or for them to recognize you as a human, but it's part of the process. You're dealing with the process of of your history. But I would say it's better off when you start to really love yourself, give yourself that history. What if it was African institutions or the African countries who set up institutions here in the UK and the Netherlands, teaching people who subscribe or who apply for that studies, that history or that information, providing that information straight from Africa without any recognition, or all they need is the Dutch or the UK government to allow it. So hey, okay, you can set up your school institutions here, and that, like, only that. You don't need the government to distribute your information for you. No, just set up an institution, and that that is a way of doing things your own way, or doing things for yourself and from yourself, without without that slave master post stamp that, hey, this is how you do it, or hey, good. But hey, we have to think past these things. Like we have to, and people supporting this should also look for these simple, because it's very subtle. You will think that you're doing it for the good reasons. However, the method chose, or the method adopted to pursue this, is still, it kind of like it draws you back.
Okay, I can see why
keeps you under that
where your perspective is coming from.
Yeah.
I would love to hear Samantha Ajwa also share something, and she could probably tell it really good because she's based in the States, so she feels a strong Black History Month, especially in February. And what she's saying is that Black History Month is a great starting point. When I was in elementary school, I appreciated similar teachings of people from Southeast Asia. It did shape my early worldview, and so there is certainly a place for it. However, parents should take the initiative to teach their children about their culture. I realize that some parents may not know where to start, but luckily there are resources online and in the wider community. Access is getting better. I think that's well agreed. MS.ABA, who says, Donnie, we have to understand that until we remember where we're coming from and where we want to go, we are not going anywhere. Thanks for that. Samantha grew up in London, by the way. I see. So are you based in NYC at the moment? Let us know, because that brings a very...
Are you stuck there because of Corona?
Are you stuck there because of Corona? Because that really brings an interesting perspective. Because I really I like the travelers, because then you get a different kind of breeze of Black people, US, UK, here, and you realize that if you I think that the Black people here in UK are quite to be compared. But it's just that the history of the British is a bit, it's longer in the sense that their first generation, I think their first generation of Black people was like in the 1920s or something like that, or very early, whereas here it was in the 70s.
To the Netherlands?
To the Netherlands, late 70s,
late 60s, early 70s.
Late 60s, right. So it's like, there is some connection there. So we love to hear from here. Samantha is saying, I'm in NYC by choice and not by Rona. Before we continue into a bit more, just celebrating Black excellence in a bit, former Eritrean refugee has just become the first African MP in New Zealand. Also, we're going to look at if you are looking to find ways to relax from Zoom, there is a way to relax and kind of build your strength. So there's a bit of health element that we are sharing there. Also, what's up with Africa and their quite cryptocurrency revolution? We're going to talk about that before we end Africa in Focus exactly at 9 p.m. prompt. Coming to you live from the city of Amsterdam. In the meantime, if you are listening to us on Facebook. Make sure that you spread the word on your timelines. This is Africa in Focus. We connect, we relate with global Africans and share our stories. Let's listen to the next track that we have on the playlist to get our Sunday jam going. And then, of course, we'll be right back to talk some more about what's going on in our world. Let's go.
You pick me from the merry clay, set my feet up on the rock, and you love me through it, cause you matter over me, over me, over me, but I like to see over me, over me, over me, see you love there over me, over me, over me, but I like to see over me, over me, over me. Say you want to see my, take it my, take it down, you go, and you really want to go, yeah. Every morning, noon and night, you say they be loving me right there, and you just they fighting my fight, and you be giving me victory. Everybody noon and night, and you say they be fighting my fight, and you just give me victory. Yeah. Nobody fit to love me like the way you do. Nobody fit to do me like the way you do, Jehovah. Yeah, I mean, I said you never know. You pick me from the merry clay, set my feet up on the rock, and you love me through it, cause you matter over me, over me, over me, but I like to see over me, over me, over me, see you love there over me, over me, over me, but I like to see over me, over me. Yeah. Couple done the overflow. Jagga da jaja mu dege mu post. One kora one send no post. Indian and Jama, I can't stop my ghost. I can't lose my God there with me. He did. The thing they give me plenty just say you there for me. Every day. Call me Afro ghetto. Brand new life you give me. And nobody stressing, your mark is all over me. All down, but I know this, yes. I got my cares on him. Oh man, terrible, Jackie, when you in. I said you never know. You pick me from the mountain, set my feet up on the rock, and you love me too, cause you matter over me, over me, over me. I like to see over me, over me, over me. See you love there over me, over me, over me. But I like to see over me, over me, yeah. Say you want to see my, take it my, take it down, you go, and you really want to go,
On the beat, yeah. Me at a table time where you machine ye, my trap be careful. That to me to be, ya want me moto, my jia to me no musa pebble. Forget again if I knew Musunko, Coco, you are here, more circle. Araba, but my zena mamma come around too. In Chawalin, me them a check. Pin, yeah, can't see cane. I'm with a 10 for chain, I'm moving to pay. I'm Quadobi, of a micro, so once in a pubi. King size bottle, one to metal. Lockdown, never corner boys are bojo. Boys are bojo. Never corner boys are bojo.
I'm going to buy any my body. I'm going to buy many my body. I'm going to buy many my body. I don't want nobody telling me, yeah, my body. I'm going to buy many my body. I'm going to buy many my body. I'm going to buy many my body. I don't want nobody telling me, yeah, my body. Come on. Give me way, mommy queen. Give me way, mommy queen. Give me way, Open sesame, make the people follow me. Give me way, give me way. Give me way, give me way. Give me way, give me way. Open sesame, make the people follow me.
Be a quano, now what bring pom be a TSC begin, you will be uncle down. Mumu wine, now was it what you may be TSC, the Mabutin Quanya main count. Coming who be one, come a quarter at the Agana for Yemen, Kaya Wanka Wakwele. Yaswaya Wanama mean, make it piano, Madan agenda, that's still a may boil it. The Mrs. of the bag in it to one anonymous. But I was a cocoa for rap, Namanum. My young punchlines, Quintiana Masum, who print in Casa Juan, one of whom my pregana guess, maybe something abroad. You might be do know I give it up to the Lord. Now me feet me a hard guy, onto doctor you and the empty bottle be man me award. But anyway, that was a bad situation. And I miss you know I did me daddy quenchi. So make a quality time kwa me wasty. When I could be making sweet love to Tracy. I believe me, keep way, mommy pine, or rap no, in my week in Tabo Dine. Ujabia, never no, become a 9. Big shouts to my Kumericans, Asante Mai.
I will never have any mabote. I will never have any mabote. I will never have any mabote. I don't want nobody telling me, yeah, mabote. I will never have.
Right. And that is the one and only Sock collaborating with Prince Bright on their record called Gimme Way, Gimme Way. You are listening to Africa Unfocused on High Radio. We are going into almost the last 15 minutes on some good conversation. We started off with talking about the developments surrounding NSARS. We've come back also to talk a bit about Black History Month. And we are super thankful for our guests, our revisiting guests that keep interacting with us. Shout out to Samantha Ajwa. Shout out to Ransford
Anand. Talking about me.
And also Mena-Ama, shout out to you. GH Kings, thank you for returning with us here on Africa Unfocused, sharing our success stories and discussing all matters arising when it comes to global Africans. We are back again, and yeah, man, what can we squeeze in this last? The last couple of there was an interesting no. Ghana has an ambitious plan to minimize plastic waste. I think that is well needed. Approximately 13 million metric tons of plastic waste enter into the oceans annually, equivalent to one garbage truck load every minute. Even worse, the Pew Charitable Foundation estimates the volume of plastic findings way into the world's oceans will triple by 2040. And some experts believe the solution lies in creating circular economies, which eliminate single-use plastic in favor of organic materials or plastics that can be recycled and reused. But that requires significant investment and infrastructure. I think it's, I think in general, I think it was a trade mission that I did the communication of, and the Dutch have quite mastered it. You know, the whole recycle thing very well. In Africa, less than 20% of plastics are recycled currently, far below European Union targets of 50% by 2025. But I must say that I do know that Tanzania recently banned plastic bags.
Wow.
In lieu of formal recycling operations, waste pickers collect litter and sell it to middlemen who aggregate plastic waste and sell it to recyclers abroad. But Ghana, with a 5% recycling rate, which is low, has emerged as a regional frontrunner committed to creating a domestic recycling industry that protects both the environment and impoverished, mostly female community of waste pickers. I didn't know that. Last fall, Ghana became the first African country to join World Economic Forum Global Plastic Action Partnership.
Oh, nice.
At a recent World Economic Forum Sustainable Development Impact Summit event, Plastics from Global Vision to Local Action, panelists representing a coalition of government, manufacturers, technology providers, and non-profit organizations discussed how Ghana is driving change. We see plastic waste as a threat to our way of life and danger to environment, said Oliver Boache, a special advisor from the Ghanaian Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology, and Innovation. But we also look at this as an opportunity. Since 2018, the government has been working on a plastic waste program that aims to clean up environment, create jobs in plastic value chain, make resources available to manage plastics, and ensure no one gets left behind. What do you think? I think it's I hope they pull it through.
It's a good initiative.
That it's I think that I hope they pull it through. Like really, literally, I hope they pull it through because in environments where people just make money because they're burning plastics, and these are young people, young kids. I'm like, dude, aren't you afraid? Something crazy might be happening in your system. Like, okay, let me just. Oh, is that a trash bag? Let me just burn it for you. Like. Come on. The plastics recycling pilot project will run in Accra and several smaller cities in Ghana. Building on what is learned during this first stage, the coalition hopes to expand across Ghana, West Africa, and eventually the entire continent and other regions. I do believe in, ensuring that your environment is at its best. It's part of that God-given responsibility to mankind. If you ask me, and I hope that they implement it like faster.
Yeah, I just wonder how is it going to look like, and I think you mentioned something that made me think. Oh yeah, people feel taking away plastic is a threat to their life or their way of living.
Right. Yeah.
Right. That is
Yeah.
not. That's not a valid reason
I
for
know.
change.
I know. I think also what government has to be responsible for is start introducing alternatives and educating people on because even here, right, you pay for your bag.
Yeah.
They introduced bags made out of recycled materials, so the whole environment contributes to all of that. So there is also a bit of responsibility that comes with
And
that.
here, when you go to the Chinese store and you want a plastic bag, you pay 10 cents.
Right. Yeah.
Makes you think twice because that 10
Exactly.
cents, you're like, really? I only have 80 euro for
I know,
nasi,
right?
now I have to pay 80
Yeah.
or 10.
Yeah, I know, right? And I also now I keep the bags, like the shopping bags. I also keep the cotton one, in my bag and stuff like that. I did realize that the Turkish pizza selling one, they don't care.
No.
They'll be like, "Oh, you want a bag?"
I just take that bag. Okay.
I don't care if you order fries; they'll be adding a bag to that. So
just
I do keep it and recycle it. Like I reuse it, for other things. I think my mom has really made me conscious of that. Like she will recycle bags, and I'm like, "Come on, man, are you
Really?
recycling this right now?" But yeah, I think it's a good highlight. Cryptocurrency, are you into that?
Cryptocurrency. I was.
What made you stop?
The cryptocurrency scene is, I mean,
'Cause
I'm
you're
not in
a-
it, but you don't really hear from it anymore.
Right.
But I think it's because of Rona. It's
You think so?
It should be. No, it should actually be growing.
Right,
But because there's so many other factors involved.
right.
But some people, I have friends who are still
Pushing
in
it.
that business, but they say, hey, there's a huge potential
Right.
for cryptocurrency to blow up once it's become clear how the future is going to look like. But
Right.
at this point, it's way
Yeah.
too distorted to find a.
Okay. Well, it seems that it's booming in Africa from the second article I've read.
Africa's
about
not suffering from corona, are they?
What? They're not. They're not. Cryptocurrency transactions in Africa are growing rapidly on a continent that already embraces mobile money. Virtual currency offers advantages for a young, tech-savvy population. Well, since it's undergoing an economic revolution that has nothing to do with banks, and despite little sign of outdated economic policies being overhauled, monthly cryptocurrency transfers to and from Africa under $10,000 shot up by 55% over the past year, reaching a peak of 360 million in June. And these numbers, which are based on data from U.S. blockchain research from Chainalysis are likely to keep rising. And while cryptocurrency is more commonly used by financial traders in other parts of the world, Africa is bucking this trend and mainly using it for commerce.
Okay.
Individuals and small businesses in Nigeria, South Africa, and Kenya account for most of this activity. And I do recognize that because my people that I know, family members in South Africa, they hook me up. Oh, you should come on board. You should do this. A forex trade through that, all of that. You know it. So it's apparently it's rampant. To explain, cryptocurrency basically takes what money is to many people and uses technology to make it more transparent and less centralized, so that everybody has a seat at the table when it comes to future of finance. That is in someone's own words.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin, which is the original and by far the most popular form of cryptocurrency, was created in 2008 by an unknown person. He probably decided to stay anonymous because he made loads of money.
I think it was the FBI who created the
Who?
I think it was the FBI.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't know. Just
Oh, I was like, all right. Or a group of people under the pseudonym of Satoshi Nakamoto. Since then, more than 6,000 other types of cryptocurrency had been created, including popular options like Ethereum and Litecoin. Ghanaian technology entrepreneur and blockchain digital marketeer Emmanuel Tokumbu Dako told DW that Africa was the next frontier of development and global economic growth. With an increasing number of Africans already embracing mobile money services such as M-Pesa, those in the industry say it's no surprise cryptocurrency is quickly gaining traction on the continent. Cryptocurrency basically works like mobile money, technology entrepreneur Dako says, so it's easier for Africans to understand as opposed to people in the West who already had more financial inclusion and easy access to banking system. This is an interesting observation. I am interested to know more of the risk. Africa's foray into cryptocurrency doesn't come without risk. The very nature of cryptocurrency means prices are volatile to begin with. Virtual currencies remain unregulated in most African countries, and their legal status is often unclear, meaning there is no safety net to compensate for loss of funds. Short-term investors are more likely to get hit hard by sudden slumps. Dako, for instance, warns that anyone looking to trade in cryptocurrency should tread carefully and educate themselves before starting. That is one interesting. Are you still into it, or you let it go?
cryptocurrency is it's not alive here.
It isn't.
It's not that alive. And it's only alive like in a certain level of maybe
Right.
business, or only a few. It's only like certain spaces or areas allow cryptocurrency as a valid means of monetary transaction or business transaction.
Right.
So it's like even if you wanted, you couldn't do anything with it yourself.
Right.
However, if you would have a business that knows other businesses, then it makes sense
Okay.
to be in it. And I'm not into that business, so yeah, I'm not really.
Right. Okay.
Into
Well,
it.
fair enough. Thanks for sharing, Mr. Finance Guy.
Is this something for people to look out for?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. Unless you
Okay.
can, until you can go in the supermarket and buy stuff with
Right.
and pay with cryptocurrency, which is where they want to get to.
That's the goal, but it's going to take some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is going to take some
Yeah.
time.
Right.
But it will definitely happen earlier in Africa than it will in the
Right.
Western world.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. Because people are more. It explains that people are more likely to just go for it
Yeah.
rather than people that have been having their way of money for so long and white folks' money. Before we close off, let's just have a look at the last couple of events and a bit of health tips, how to combat Zoom fatigue. Any familiarity with Zoom fatigueness?
No, but I do know that there are some, let's say, Zoom accidents.
I know. What was it? Argentina. One of these ministers of Argentina or something was caught with his mistress during a.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. He was suspended. Like that was wrong.
And in the States, this guy, Jeff Tubin, he was caught masturbating or something.
Oh yeah. I've heard about that.
Yeah.
Too
He's a
much.
CNN anchor and a lawyer.
Too much information.
Yeah.
Like seriously. Anyway, the world is taken over. Zoom is just taking over people's schedules. I shout out to Amasante, who last time placed a comment. She was like, "Yo, I've been on Zoom meetings the whole day. Can somebody like give me a manual? Which chair can I buy for this? Are there special shoes I can get? Because I am getting tired. What's the rule for this? Because this is a lot." I love her comment, by the way. That was super funny. But here are some tips to get you going. Avoid multitasking. It's easy to think that you can use the opportunity to do more in less time, but research shows that trying to do multiple things at once cuts into performance.
Yeah, don't try and cook whilst you at work or whilst you're in
Right.
the meeting. Your meeting starts at 1,
Yeah.
but the jollof rice you just put on the stove is at 12:30. No,
Which is gonna take 2 hours,
yeah,
man.
exactly. So don't do it and be like, and then mute it and forget to
Right.
Oh,
Look out
There
for
you
that. Next one is to build in breaks. Take mini breaks from video during longer calls, minimizing the window, moving it to behind your open application, or just looking away from your computer completely for a few seconds now and then. I could see why that would help. Yeah. Reduce on-screen stimuli. Research shows that when you're on video, you tend to spend the most time gazing at your own face. This can be easily avoided by hiding yourself from view. Still, on-screen distractions go far beyond yourself. Make virtual social events opt-in. After a long day of back-to-back video calls, it's normal to feel drained, particularly if you're an introvert.
Yeah.
I could see that. Switch to phone calls or email. If it's possible, check your calendar for the next few days to see if there are any conversation you can have over Slack or email instead. If 4 p.m. rolls around and you're zoomed out but have an upcoming one-on-one, ask the person to switch to a phone call.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And for external calls, avoid defaulting to video, especially if you don't know each other well. That's something that if somebody dares to phone me on video call, just like I don't even answer, I'll be looking at my phone like, look at this. Like, ignore. I think that's not my thing at all. But anyway.
Have you ever declined a video call from your mom?
No, I haven't.
You never?
I haven't.
And
No.
for any other family member?
I don't use that decline button because it's I don't know.
You just let it ring. You just
Yeah. No, the decline button shows that you're there. Shows that you've seen the call. Shows that you're probably there to pick up. So no, and it's a bit like it comes off harsh. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I mean, of course it comes off harsh, but
I don't use it.
You decline once and then it's clear.
No, I only
make it
decline
known that, hey.
if I'm making use of the screen and then I text, please, I'm doing something. But yeah, and Zoom is eating our lives up, really. Yeah, Donnie, this has been a good show. We've been talking about a lot that's been going on in our world. Yep. What is your goal for this coming week? Do you care to share?
This week I finally get to submit my thesis and freedom at last.
Freedom, in the words of
freedom at last.
In the words of I love that. I love that. Finally file it in, and also take a well-deserved break, right?
Yeah, we're going to tune into that EP of MS.ABA.
Yay! It's dropping
Friday.
My EP is dropping this Friday
so
on all
how
your
the
streaming
weekend
platforms.
is going to be. So yeah. Oh, by the way, so
tell me.
I think I pre-ordered something on Spotify, but
really
I didn't see the pre-ordering. I clicked the link and it took me onto Spotify online, like in a browser.
Yeah.
And that was it. I didn't get to
Yeah, that means
pay anything or what. I don't understand.
But do you even pay on Spotify? You don't. No, you don't pay on Spotify.
Yeah.
You'll get a notification when it's out.
So that's the pre-ordering.
That's the pre-ordering on
What's
iTunes.
this
It's with payment and where you
Okay,
get to
good.
download it and stuff. But
Oh,
Spotify
no.
is not that.
Because I thought actually purchasing.
No, but I appreciate the link click. I mean, I appreciate that. I love that. But you will have a notification. You'll be the first. I'll be doing a Thursday evening launch. Been receiving some questions regarding the music, and so I'll be doing that. So look out for that. Yay!
that is going to be a busy week for you.
I know it's going to be busy.
A lot of Zoom appointments.
Those tips were for me.
What to do.
Thanks so much again for joining me, Donnie, again on Africa on Focus. It was a blast. Shout out to everybody that tuned in and joined in the conversation with us. Samantha Ajwa, you're the best. And also MS.ABA. Appreciate all of your engagement on this platform. Who else? GH Kings, Ni Jata, and also somebody gave you a shout out. Who was that? Let me see who that was. Let me see.
Me a shout out?
Yeah, we said you're doing a good job, Donnie. Donnie, how are you, bro? Like he said, bro, like
I know him.
Bro.
Like how? Bro.
Hey, bro. In Shraba Kweku Esiam.
Yes,
know
shout
her.
out to you.
Shout out to you in Shraba. Shout out to you. This week, make sure that you follow Africa on Focus on all platforms. Our podcast, which is the recaps of our episodes, come out. You can always watch back on our YouTube channels, Africa on Focus, both on High Radio. Make sure that you stay updated on High Radio because we have other programs that will be taking place through the course of the week. On Fridays, we have Gary with Y Zone talking to upcoming artists in hip hop. On Saturdays, you'll be talking to Junior and Sylvia Candy, who's bringing East African sounds. And also, DJ Royals, who introduces Afro Bongo that focuses on African history and so much more. And then again, on Sunday, you'll be meeting us.
We need him on the show, I think.
Sorry?
We need DJ Royal on the show.
DJ Royal should be on the show, yes. Let's arrange that and have the conversation going. Make sure that you spread the word, of course, Africa in Focus. Be sure to join our conversation in next week, 7 p.m. CET, Amsterdam time. We will be back again. Let's see if we already have the next week guest marked. Let me peek into that if we even have an idea, if I can give a preview on who our next week guest is.
MS.ABA.
Let's see.
That's a guest.
Who is our special guest?
MS.ABA.
Yeah, I guess it would be announced. Yeah, it would be announced. Look out for that. Anyway, I'm closing off with this a lovely song by Yannick Jean, who I think is one of the artists to look out for, who comes from the Dutch. Well, he's Nigerian, of course, and all of that, but you should definitely look out for that. For him, his song is called African Herbs, and I think this sort of African herbs will spice your weekend enough for the rest of the week. Stay blessed, and we
all right, bye-bye.
Eli, inspiration malaika. They never hear wetin man go hear. They never see wetin man go see. We go make man no. Give me the thing we go make me they want to dey no. They make him money Eddie Coco Tico, tell me why I no go shak till I'm Maya. They make him money Eddie Coco Tico, tell me why I no go quest like a para. Long time ago. Long time ago. He say long time ago, yeah. Long time ago. Shaka Zulu Bobo Shanti man a biggie warrior, yeah. Shaka Zulu Bobo Shanti man a biggie warrior, yeah. I no go be, I no go lie. I make a meter blow. I no go be, I no go lie. Last time when you give it to me critical, I make take you downtown in the cinema. Baby, give it to me minimal. I be your Django and I be your really ready man. Yeah. Oh yeah, make you know the long thing. If I fancy, I will put it in a boulevard. You know me love for you a critical. You know me love for you a critical. Yeah. God, you know say when you go black, you never go back. I know you got that vitamin D. Oh, me know say when you go black, you never go back. I know you got that vitamin D. We have to burn them calories. I know I'm a big time remedy. Inna the good loving, me want give you good energy. We have to burn them calories. I know I'm a big time remedy. Inna the good loving, me want give you good energy. No rules, no fever, no lick fish finger, yeah, fish finger, yeah. Bring it over, do it for hasta la vista, hasta la vista.
Stacking up my money, no time for your shit. Money kulakpo, I don't care for your hate. Me no fighting, me no fighting. Throwing down drums from bungalow out there. I did my penthouse, you can't even reach me. Me no frightened. It is not your fight, stand down. I'm not the one, calm down. You know I'm not your problem. You can't be me, why bother? Don't have your time now. Ole mumi bow down. To bambino farabale. Oboya ko lari mole. Okay. It's okay, let them see. Trouble no they pay me. Kinjaye on the daily. Okay. We go te okay. I just want to hear me. Look. Baby, it's your daddy.